Welcome to the assembly video for our Thanksgiving greeting card. Now, our seasoned dreamers know that we have a lot of different Thanksgiving cards to choose from, but if you're in a bind, you need something really quick, easy, fast, and elegant, you've come to the right place. And we're gonna put this together in probably under 5 minutes. It's not a lot of pieces. They're all gonna cut out really quick. And again, the assembly is, well, very straightforward. So you can see here in front of me, I already pretty much have it together. We just need to add some glue. We've got our card base here. I already have it folded, scored at the score mark here, or folded at the score mark, I should say. And on the front here, you'll notice that there's a series of little markers to help you with the alignment. Now, our main little motif here on the front, we're actually going to put some foam squares on this to give this a little bit of dimension, but first, we do need to glue this down. And I'm gluing it down on a nice gold foil, a very reflective gold foil. There's a few different types out there, but we're going with a very reflective one. You're not going to see a lot of it, so when you do see it, it's really going to shine. So go ahead and get your glue on the back of this, and I would try to not get the glue out too far to the edge, because when you're working with gold foil, it tends to be a little slippery, so to speak. It's not as porous as a typical piece of cardstock. And if you happen to place it in the wrong spot initially and need to nudge it around, we don't want to make a huge mess. So try not to, if you're using gold foil as your background, try not to get too much glue on the edges of this piece here. And it's very important that I get this nice and centered. So I'm gonna kind of do it from this angle here. And before I commit, I'm gonna do a little visual here and just make sure that in fact I have it nice and centered and nice and even as well. And that looks pretty good. Now you see how I'm kind of nudging it around right now. And if I had that glue all the way at the edge, there's a possibility that some of it would blemish the beautiful gold that we have here. So I avoided that, and it looks like we got it just in the right spot. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna let this just kind of set for a second. Oh, jeez. Dreaming Tree, this is Leo. Okay. All right, so before we put that in place, the beautiful caption here, you don't even need to do a print and cut. It's actually all cut out. And of course, as always, nice and optimized so that any machine, hopefully even if your blade is older, will still be able to cut this. So let's get our glue on here. Again, don't overdo it on the glue. And you see these little areas here where, for example, the little H, I want to try to get a little bit of glue right on that little spot, just so that it doesn't get ripped. And then at the bottom of this card, you'll see the little markers to help you with the alignment. Last thing you want is for this thing to be a little skewed. You want it to be nice and straight all the way across. Okay, there we have that. Now before we put the front on, I'm going to put the inside in place here. And to kind of continue with the vanilla cardstock on gold, we have this piece here where you can do your little stamping or your journaling, write a little sentiment, a note. We're going to pop that right on top of our nice, beautiful gold piece here. So let's get our glue on that. Just like that, go easy with the glue. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Since I'm working with gold foil, I'm going to do it at this angle visually. Use the, whoops, that's okay. Use the tip here, little points, as your initial guides to make sure that you've got it nice and centered. And then look at the horizontal alignment afterwards. And I think that is pretty darn good. Just want to make sure you keep a nice even border going all the way around so everything looks nice and symmetrical. Once it's in place, give it a press, and we'll give that just a moment to set. There we go. very simple card. Literally, I'm probably taking way too long here and explaining things that I probably don't need to, but that's okay. And then we're going to glue this entire piece here right into the center of the inside of the card. So we'll put our glue on the back of our gold foil piece here and get that nice and centered. And one thing you'll notice about foil paper like this, you can pick this up at your local craft store or online. Typically, not always, but this specific gold foil is a very non-porous, has a very non-porous back. So it usually does take a little bit longer for this type of gold foil to glue and set. And you just want to get that nice and centered on the inside. Try to make sure that your alignment is spot on and that you have a nice even border going all the way around. Give that a little bit of a nudge in whichever direction it needs to go to make sure that it's nice and straight here. I think that's pretty good. Press that down into place. And there you have it. Nice and elegant, very simple, quick. There we go. Okay, we'll close this up. Now we're going to take this piece here that's been on the sidelines drying, flip her over, and we're going to get some foam squares. I think 4 will do, 1 in each corner. I'm not going all the way out to the corner because we don't want it to be visible. Okay, and I think I'm going to do my little push test here. We'll flip it over and just give it a push and see if it's kind of giving too much when we push down on it. If that's the case, you could probably just go with 4 if you don't want to overdo it on the supplies. I would probably put 1 more here and just 1 more here. That way the center doesn't kind of give. And that seems very solid. So we can pull these off and get this in place. Now, since this is a quick card, we'll go over a couple more things, specifically adding rhinestones and the best method for that. So again, we do have little markers here to help you with the alignment. So just use those to your advantage. There you have it. Beautiful. Look at that. Nice and simple, very elegant, quick, and yeah, you know what? Let's take a look at the rhinestones here. These little cutouts in the corners here, perfect for a little rhinestone. So find some rhinestones that you think would fit. That is probably too big. We want it to be a little bit smaller than that, just so that it's, well, just so it fits in that little spot right there. And let me get that. Let me get my, this is a little pick-me-up tool. They discontinued this thing. And there was another company that was making them. That rhinestone is the perfect size. Okay, so my suggestion would be to, well, obviously these are loose. Some of the rhinestones that you buy, they have a sticky back on them already. Don't trust it if you really want this thing to last. I've got my little pick-me-up tool. I'm holding my little rhinestone with my pick-me-up tool, dipping it on top of a tiny little mound of glue. And then with this other piece that is part of the tool here, I'm going to use that to hold this down in place while I lift up the actual tool. There we go. Okay. Now I did get a little bit of glue on the outside of that, but that's okay. It's gonna dry almost clear, and that's why after I dip it into the glue, I always try to kind of spread some of it off. You just need a little thin, a thin line, not a thin line, a thin layer of glue on your rhinestone, and it will stay permanently. So try to kind of spread off and wipe off a little bit of that glue that's on there so that you don't overdo it. Now, see, I did a lot better job on that one. So let me get one more here. It's a handy little tool. You could probably also use some little tweezers. There used to have something called tweezer bees. I think these are basically essentially the same thing. You can hold them with some tweezers. I don't think that doesn't work as well. But it is tough to work with little rhinestones with your fingers, which is why this tool is very helpful. If you get like a little hibachi stick and some of that tacky stuff, you can make your own for the most part. Okay, so we'll get that in place. You got one more, and then of course, no Dreaming Tree card would be complete without a coordinating envelope. So we're gonna put that together here in a second. I gotta find my other rhinestone. There you are, mister. Where do you think you're going? Okay, there's my last one. We'll get that into place. And you know, this year for Thanksgiving might be a little weird, but I know probably going to be going to either my parents' house or my girlfriend's parents' house, and it would be nice to give the host or hostess a nice little card. Or if you have a neighbor or a friend, a family member that you want to mail a card to, it'd be a very nice thing to do. And I'm sure they would appreciate it. Okay, so card is done. We've got our nice little rhinestones in there. We can put that off to the side. Take a look at our envelope. And for those of you that have made cards with us before, you know that this is not a difficult process at all. So here is our envelope. I've already folded everything. Now we have this piece here, and I did hit the edges with some ink on this. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to glue this right to the back to kind of give this a two-toned sort of flap. Okay, and in which case, to do that, we're going to need to apply our glue to the inside of the flap here. We're going to put it here instead of on this piece because we don't know exactly where to not put the glue. Well, I guess we technically do. There are some little markers there, but I'd rather do it this way. This is probably safer. Okay, get that glue kind of up to the edge here. There we go. And we'll take this, I got my texture side, I want it pointing out so that you see that beautiful texture from the outside. And just kind of nudge it up to where the fold is, and then make sure it's centered. Of course, that's the most important thing, make sure it's nice and centered. And then you can literally just take this and bring it down. Make sure that it is nice and centered for you. If you need to give it a little nudge, now's the time before the glue fully sets. Okay, there we go, and just press that down. Beautiful. And then we do have some nice little oak leaves to complement the one that's cut out here. So essentially we've got a three-tone sort of thing going on here. And why not? It only takes a few seconds, and it really makes it really pretty. And you can see there are also some little markers here to help you with the alignment. Now make sure you grab the right one because these are not symmetrical. And again, there are little markers here to help you with the positioning on this. So this one's going to go on the left side, and we're going to be very sparse with the glue. Do as I say, not as I do. I just opened up a new bottle, so it's kind of, the bottle's been sitting there for probably a few weeks, asking itself, when do I get to be a part of this? And I think it just got a little too excited. Okay, so just line that up with the little markers there. There we go. Same thing with the other one. And we'll add a nice little rhinestone at the bottom of this guy here to finish it off. Add a little bling. It's all in the details. There we go. And again, using our markers as our guides to make sure everything is nice and symmetrical. Beautiful. Okay, and finally, one more rhinestone. This one can be a little bit bigger. I think that might be too big too. Let me see if I can get a smaller one here and pop a smaller one on there. I like that better. Okay, so grab my pick-me-up tool, dip it in some glue. This is just a scrap piece of paper that I have here on the side. Rub some of that glue off. Add a little stray hair on there. We don't want that. Here you go. Here's a Thanksgiving card with a piece of my cat hair, if you can find it. Okay, and grab this. Pop that right there. And pop it in place. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, now as far as finishing up the envelope, we're going to take We're going to take these flaps on the side, fold them in like so, and just a nice thin line of glue along this inside section all the way down to the bottom. Same thing here, just like that. And we'll take the bottom part, fold it up, press down and hold. Give that just a few moments. And I'm just pushing down really hard to really force that glue to penetrate into our beautiful paper fibers. Here we go. That should do it. And there's our beautiful coordinating envelope to go along with our gorgeous, classic looking, elegant card. You can see how nicely that fits, nice and snug, nice and secure, and that's it. So anyway, Thanksgiving is coming up. Hopefully some of us, hopefully all of us, get to spend some time with friends and loved ones. I know it's been a trying year, so we could all use a little bit of normalcy. That may not be possible, but let's hope and pray that it is. But in the meantime, keep on crafting. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the, oh boy, I'm losing track here, 23,000 plus dreamers. So head over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can just type in this address here, it'll take you right there. And if you enjoyed crafting with me, take a moment and visit our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be free or paid, or one of the many instructional videos or bonus content videos that we create. So again, happy fall. Hopefully the colors are in bloom, so to speak, in your area. Enjoy them and have a great Thanksgiving. And I look forward to crafting with you again.